Hi, I'm Dr. Keith Johnson. I want to take some time to talk to you about realizing how your habits can be your worst enemy and how you need to fight against them so that you can be the kind of person that you need to be. Now, I go on the premise that every one of us is born with a reason. God put us together, according to Romans, piece by piece, so that we could accomplish His purposes. And you and I need to not only His purposes, but we need to know the purpose of our own life. And if you don't take time to realize why you are here, you just don't care. And then you lose your motivation, and then you don't bother to look for your own purpose. Those people that are successful are people that have convinced themselves they have a reason to be here and that the world will be changed and not the same without them. So one of the habits that you've got to get rid of is stop discouraging yourself. Believe you are important. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you're trying to do and where you want to go. And be convinced that you understand who you are. Habits are repeated actions or an unconscious pattern of behavior, and sometimes those patterns are very poor. They affect all areas of your lives, and they determine how much we make use of them each day. If they're a bad pattern and we're comfortable with them, we may continue to repeat them, and the bad patterns don't do us any good, only make our hole bigger. If the patterns are good for us, then the more we enjoy them and the more success we see, the more motivated we are to get them done. And your problem may very well be that you've got too many bad patterns. You're discouraged, you're tired, you're not seeing success. You don't know what the matter is with what you're thinking or why you don't see anything working, and you don't realize that God is so anxious for you to follow His plan. He put you on earth for a reason. And were you not here, the earth would be different. He put you down to do and carry out His plan, but you've got to be willing and motivated to carry it out. In one area, you can get motivated, and then if you don't stay excited because you don't see success or you don't understand it or try to understand it, next thing you know, you'll stop doing it. And then you're not doing it until you suddenly realize, well, I've made a mistake here. I can accomplish this, and I should accomplish it. A good doctor is a doctor who keeps making himself better every time he does. In all the times that I got all my doctorates, one thing I learned was I could not learn enough and I did not know enough. In fact, the more I knew, the more I learned, the less I knew. And the more I understood of life, the less I understood of it. But that makes you continue to want to know more and more. So let's work on your habits. Work on them each day and get to know what those habits are. We all know of good and bad habits and are probably struggling to let go some of the bad practices. Unfortunately, there's nothing as hard as fighting against ourselves. It is you who have been for a while, and it takes time to get you off of whatever it is you're doing for a while that becomes a part of you. However, if we are to live a motivational life and the success that we need, what we see, we need to cultivate our habits that are in everyone's benefit and that will help you make the kind of life that you want. An intentional life is one where we carefully choose what to do and how we do it and when we need to do it and achieve certain goals. If it's a purposeful life, we are trying to say to ourselves, we need the participation of our own cooperation and the comfortability to find such a life fulfilling whatever the motivation of our life happens to be. Sometimes having children will motivate you at least 20 years to raise that child and make them a success. And then the child at 20 years goes and lives somewhere else, and then you lose that motivation. You have to find a new motivation to keep going. On the other hand, if the child bearing experience creates good habits within you, those good habits will continue and give you greater success in other parts of the world. So what you want to do is you want to make those bad habits good habits and turn them into a successful, motivated life, which is what you're looking for anyway, what you're trying to understand. There are all kinds of problems that we've got that we need to deal with. And we can deal with those. If they're in your life and I mention them, think about them. Take some notes. Write down some things that you're thinking about to see how they can change and direct your life. Let me stop with self-introspection. The worst thing that can happen is you examine your own life and determine, I'm a failure. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's not going to work. There's no reason to even try. There are a lot of people that think that way negatively. And there are a lot of people who don't know what to do with their lives because of it. Make it a habit to do a self-check. Sometimes look over your mood. Figure out, are you tired? Are you angry? Are you upset? Are you bitter? Did you cross somebody or turn them off because you said a hard word? What is it that's motivating you, that's causing you a lack of success? Examine yourself. Sometimes we shut down our stumbling blocks, we become the worst we are, and then we don't realize that some of these bad habits we can retire if we insist on making a change. We behave to a self-sabotaging year, therefore we carry out the bad habits, and we make sure that those bad habits guide our life and direct us, and we become comfortable in them. Okay, so I'm not doing a good job. I'm used to it. Okay, so I was meant to fail anyway. I don't know how to do these things. I don't know what to do. Change your mind. Don't sabotage yourself. Believe that you can do it. Believe if you're thinking about it that there's a reason, at least for you to be thinking about it and to be working on it, as far as you can tell and as far as you know you want to succeed. We must learn to first look deep inside ourselves before we find anyone or anything else to blame for anything that is not going right in our lives. Look for your own weakness. Find the things that need to be improved and work on yourself. This will improve your relationships, your approaches, your appearance, as you work on your personal goals. And know what those goals are. Write those goals down and determine, I'm going to keep this piece of paper and I'm going to look at my goals for a while and ask myself, am I accomplishing what I want to do? Then sometimes you'll need to rewrite your goals. You'll find as you get older that your goals are not working the way you thought they would, and so you should do something else. This reminds you where each plan for the day is meant to take you. Remind yourself what you want to achieve every now and then. In other words, keep your eyes on the goal to avoid wasting time on things that do not bring value to your life. And that'll happen a lot. There's nothing wrong with you making mistakes or having to change your life a little bit to make it better, or saying I'm sorry from time to time, telling God and telling your friend and telling your relative that you're sorry, you made a mistake and you wish you hadn't done that. And you may say that often, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with restarting and getting a new life, starting a new habit, creating a new experience so that you can gain a new success. Say no. Learn to say no to anything that is not in alignment with your goal. This includes saying no to your desires, your friends, your relatives, and everyone else. Teach them to respect your routine and working time, and that your interest and goals matter, and do not embrace excuse. They help you feel comfort in your weakness, and it gives you an excuse to create the bad habit again and again. Don't do it. Say no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go there. Draw a lesson from each challenge you face. Challenges happen for a reason. They're in your life. You need challenges. You need somebody to say, wait a minute, you need to stop here. You need to do this. This is what you need to do to be successful where you want to be. You don't want to go into a doctor's office and pretend you're a doctor if you don't have the education. You need to go to school. You need to experience that education, and then you need to get right to be certified. You cannot be anything you're not. So stop trying to be something you're not and ask yourself, what can I do to be what I thought I should be and what I thought I am and was? There is always something to learn from your friends, from your relatives, from your children. There's always something to learn if you pay attention. the range from misunderstanding to failed business. If you identify the opportunities, you'll see where possible that you could be a success and you need to be a success. One of the secrets to being a success is learning to listen more and talk less. When you learn to listen more, you learn more from others. You do not only get valuable information relating to your dreams, but you also understand them better and improve relationships. Listening also gives you strength, time to think about who you are and who you're talking to and how you're going to react. It also helps you understand the contents of a discussion and lessons that changes the misunderstandings create our conflict. One of the best things that happened to me was when I became a Christian, when I accepted Jesus in my heart and was convinced that Jesus was there. I began to doubt. I began to think, well, maybe it's just a feeling. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe there really is no Jesus. So what I decided to do was not only study my religion first, but after I felt I had a grasp on what it meant to have Jesus in your heart and what it meant to overcome your own sin, then I started studying everybody else's religion. I took what back then an encyclopedia. I took back then the encyclopedia and I studied what the encyclopedia had listed as the 13 major religions in the world. And I studied them in detail. Every time I had a chance, I would study what these major religions had to say and how they were different from mine. And then I would study questions like, why are they different from mine? Why do they say this? Why does mine say that? In some cases, I found out that my religion was wrong. In some cases, I found out that their religion was wrong. But I continued to study, and to this day, it's one of the best studies I've ever had because I study all the time. Every day I can hear conflict, and every day I know why I believe what I do. And that's important, to study what you believe and what you think about yourself and why you think that way. You don't only get valuable information related to your dreams, but you also understand them better and improve relationships. Listening also gives you enough time to think before you talk or react. It also helps you understand the content of discussion and lessens the chances of a misunderstanding or a conflict that you regret you said. And then finally, show appreciation to everybody, no matter who they are or what they think. Be grateful for your achievements and growth, and learn to express genuine gratitude to others. An intentional, motivated life is nearly impossible to follow if one is ungrateful. The person tends to be driven by their desires to achieving more and may never be content. Such an attitude can drive a person to do anything, including things that are out of their character. It also helps you understand the contents of a discussion and lessens the chances of a misunderstanding or a conflict that pops up out of nowhere. So study the differences. A wise Christian will know the differences of good and bad, right and wrong, religion and spirituality. There's a lot of differences between relationship and doctrine. Find out what the differences are. Ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? And why do I act the way I do? You'll never regret it.